Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. Today joining us are two guests, Pankaj Mital, the Chief Operating Officer of Samvardhana Motherson International, and Kunal Malani, the CFO at the company. The company, the Motherson Group's flagship company, has reported its December quarter numbers today. The profit jumped quite a bit to 454 crore rupees, and revenue also showed a quite a jump. So first of all, I wanted to ask a question to you, whoever wants to answer the first question. And last couple of years have been not the easiest for the company, with all sorts of challenges, from restructuring, supply challenges to COVID. With this kind of performance now in this quarter, would you say that the worst is already behind?
Yeah, I would tend to think the worst is behind us. I don't know, Pankaj, if you have a different view.
Of course, we all hope that the worst is always behind us. These are very challenging times which we saw, and with the efforts of all, we have overcome, and we have come to a situation where we could report such results. So a lot of hard work and a lot of trust with the customers have resulted in this.
There has been mixed opinions on the looming recession in the Western markets. What is your assessment? Would you say there have been any impact on the orders or the recovery that we have seen this quarter? Hasn't been as strong as it could have been without these looming risks? So my question to Pankaj.
It would be very difficult for us to comment about recession. What we see is how the customers' volumes are coming up. We do see in the markets in which we supply, like in Europe, if you see the car makers have grown the numbers. So we do see that the demand is quite strong, but still the delivery of the cars take a long time. And that's what allows us to think that the demand is still strong. And that's what we see globally. If we look at the total number, it's about 21.5 million cars in a quarter, which is not a very strong number yet. So that gives us hope that the coming quarters should see much better numbers. It's very difficult to predict as to when the recession will hit. The same thing has happened for the commercial vehicles also. We have seen good demand from the commercial vehicle makers in Europe as well as in America.
On a year-on-year basis, as you said, the numbers have not been quite strong yet. Growth in production of both light vehicles as well as commercial vehicles have remained muted globally. And the China's challenge was different this quarter. Would the larger trends such as premiumization, transition to SUVs, and electrification will be enough to increase sales in the coming quarters if muted production continues?
For us, when we look at our company, definitely premium vehicles, where we have a big play in Europe and in other countries also, have remained stable and have grown. And also the premiumization of the cars, the electrification of the cars, all these things result in a better content for us.
And my next question to you, Kunal. Your presentation also said that the pressures of employee costs and commodity costs remained. And will they remain a challenge in the upcoming quarters as well?
So for sure, I think the inflationary pressures are a challenge. It is clearly getting depicted across the globe, and it's an industry-wide issue. It is not only for us. The good part, however, is we continue to work constructively with our customers to share as much of the risks that's there. Given it's an industry-wide issue and given the trust that Motherson has with its customers, I'm sure we will find a good solution for that as well. That's on the inflation side. On the commodity side, we do see some degree of softening, which should aid well. And then there seems to be some softening on energy prices. There seems to be some softening also on the supply chain side, which should then enable us to better manage our working capital than where we are today.
Okay. The company has a 5-year plan also in place, which will be culminating in 2025. And according to that plan, the return on capital employed has been imagined at 40% of the investment. So I thinking with the conditions that we have seen over the past 3 years, and the challenges still remain with the global recession that people are talking about, would you say that you, particularly about that goal, would you be able to match it, do you think?
Look, we will make our full efforts towards it and hope to beat that. But yeah, look, it requires a degree of parameters to come into play as well. In events like COVID, etc., you would see that it was a worldwide event. We follow a 3CX10 policy of no country, no customer, no component being 10%, and that diversity means that irrespective, some part of the globe has a challenge. At an aggregate, we still seem to be growing and doing fine. So unless some exogenous events which are more global in nature hits us, we should at least aim to achieve this as much as possible and hopefully beat it as well.
Pankaj, how are you seeing the businesses China now? Are the challenges that were frustrated with the COVID, have they been resolved now?
So when we look at the passenger car industry, there have been a lot of supply chain disruptions during the COVID period. It's improving. And on the commercial vehicle side, we still see that the demand is quite low, which has been there since the upgraded version came in because of the high inventories which were thrown into the market.
You recently made an acquisition in the upholstery business. What kind of market opportunity are you seeing in this business in the coming years?
See, there are a lot of synergies which this business has with our polymer business, that's Mate's business, because we do door trims, we do a lot of stuff. And with the premiumization of the cars, the car makers require much better interiors. So it's a aligned business which can support globally also. We do similar businesses and require such things. So it's a complementary business coming together in the polymer division to create much better solutions and also improve the business potential going forward.
Would you be able to put any number? What kind of contribution could it make in the next 2-3 years?
Well, I think the potential is so enormous just to put a number right now. So may not be the best thing to do, but we do see huge potential coming from there.
Let me give you a flavor of that if it helps.
Yeah.
Sure.
You've been hearing a lot about airbags becoming mandatory in India, and that so 6 airbags becoming mandatory, which means the airbags will go on the seats. Now, this particular company actually has the capability of doing what is required on the seats for fitting these airbags into it. Now, unlike what we've seen in the past, where there was a lot of aftermarket products which were going as seat covers, etc., if you have to put an airbag into it, you have to move from unorganized to organized.
Sure.
And that itself is a large enough opportunity if you see how large the unorganized segment on the seat cover side is. So those are just an example of what is the nature of, or can this be taken, and it could be very, very large, frankly, from where it is today. It's carrying an order book of 2,500 crores.
Okay. That was my last question to you, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us, and always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.